What's good with YouTube? Y'all already know Big Flocko with the Convict's reaction, where I smash, dash, and react. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire reactions. I think it's time for me to jump in on this P-Diddy situation, which, man, it's off the hook. All the videos that have been posted about it, you know, the leaked videos, leaked recordings, leaked audios, you know, it's crazy how people didn't see this sooner, okay? Or people failed to see it, okay? A lot of times people will do whatever it takes to get that fame, okay? So a lot of intimate details have been coming out about what's been going on for the past 20, 25 years. Now, there's too many people speaking on what was going on over there, who, what, where, when, why, including several celebrities, right? So we're not going to talk about that there's any denying that there wasn't any kind of foul shit going on over there. You know, to what extent we don't know, okay? But I am going to put this out there. He must have pissed the fuck out of somebody. He must have pissed somebody off, because he was pretty much safeguarded from whatever he was doing for years because of the money that he makes and the circles that he ran in. Now, I'm not one of those ones that really promotes and pushes conspiracies, right? But there's one thing that once I started to pay more attention to my surroundings and whatnot when I came home from prison, that I noticed in the last like 20 something years, right? Every major issue that has came about, there's basically a period of 6 months to 2 years where they prepare you in the media for what may be coming. Saddam Hussein's one, right? Now remember, the United States used to fund his country with weapons and help with training and whatnot, right? For years, because of the issue with Iran, right? Now, about a year to 18 months before all that stuff happened in Kuwait, you had Operation Storm, right? What ended up happening was this. The media started to paint Saddam in a whole different type of light. They started to make him into a bigger maniac than what he really was. Yeah, he wasn't a good person, we know that, right? But the same token, he wasn't as barbaric as they made him out to be, okay? Now, how can someone go from being one that's basically a mutual ally, like I said? It wasn't a friendship, it was just like an alliance. Someone that the United States was supporting. I'm not even going to call him an ally. Just somebody that the United States was pushing for their agenda against Iran. So all of a sudden, a tyrant that just abuses his own people and all this stuff, right? Which he did some fucked up things, we already know. But there's a whole lot of other countries that were doing similar or worse shit during the same period. But the United States media was propagating certain information out, preparing you for Operation Storm. They were setting it up. They were putting everything in motion, right? And then when it was time to act, everybody was ready to support it. Okay? Now, the same thing happened with bin Laden. Bin Laden was getting the support over the fight, you know, the invasion of Russia and whatnot, and got a lot of training by United States soldiers and a lot of support. And he was rich beyond means, right? But what else happened there? Before 9/11, about 15 months, you started to hear his name. All of a sudden, he was rated as the 7th worst, you know, terrorist, you know what I'm saying, on the United States radar. Whereas a couple years before, they were supporting him. But the media was slowly pushing it. They were dropping those lugs. They were planting those seeds. They were basically manipulating you, okay? To where, bam, all of a sudden, the 9/11 attacks happened, okay? All of a sudden, the Washington, D.C. attacks, all of a sudden, bin Laden was behind all this. And he was just the mastermind, the biggest threat of the United States, which pretty much changed forever certain policies and certain laws in this country based upon what happened on 9/11. You see, as convicts, we pay attention to detail, right? And I noticed all this stuff. I was like, man, this is kind of interesting that all this stuff just all of a sudden started to get a little harder push out of nowhere than this happens. Same thing with 9/11. Now, if you think about it, with P-Diddy, right? You started to hear a little bit lugs over a year ago. But the last 6 months, it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger till the shell shock happened when they fucking rushed his house and raided it, right? Now, was anybody surprised? We know that there was some fucking parties going on and some weird shit going on based upon the rumors we heard, but it wasn't some that really was given that much attention. But like I said, it was slowly being put out there here and there over a year ago. Then the last 6 months, it started to progress more and more and more. For what reasons, I don't know. I'm going to assume that he probably pissed someone off that had a lot of power. Or once again, I'm not into conspiracies, but maybe he was a fall guy for somebody else. Maybe someone else they were paying a little too much attention to. And this kind of takes off the heat off of that individual. Now, there's been a ton more of disturbing videos showing P-Diddy. And now that everything's being put out there about the raids for potential sex trafficking, everybody's looking at Diddy a little bit different. They're looking at all his videos and they're deciphering it, looking for situations or, things that may have happened that we didn't catch at first. Now that everybody knows that there was a lot of stuff going on and that he was pretty much like a ringleader, everybody's looking at everybody that he was associated with. You got Usher as well, man, that's being thrown up there. Beyonce, Jay-Z, all kinds of different people. Now, when a scandal like this comes out, a lot of times it's going to affect, they're going to be doing something. Somebody's going to be doing something that we don't witness and we don't know. Something in the government or whatnot. Now, this affects more of the urban areas. Think about it. So now, who's going to be sliding through and benefiting from this? That's the question I want to have answered, man. And a lot of times you may not see it, so you don't even know. All this happens, right? And he loses, right? His companies, right? The guy's worth billions, right? What happens to all that, man? His kids don't get it, especially if he's guilty of a crime. Who's gonna take over the legacy of what Diddy created? The record label, the clothing line, all that stuff. I want to know who gets it. Because those are the questions that people need to ask now. Now, it doesn't excuse the behavior, right? Not at all. But he was exposed to that behavior for a reason. Now, the one thing that I want to know personally is why did all of these people who witnessed this, who knew this, how come they turned the cheek to it? There's a saying, right? Until one's cut off, right? Then everything comes out. But while they're benefiting, while the well is flowing, everybody keeps on going for a drink, right? So what happened that all these people all of a sudden decided to turn their back on Diddy? Because they were all right benefiting from it. You know what I'm saying? They had enough time to record audios and all this other stuff, right? Yet they didn't have time to call in to report underage, males and females were at these parties. And I want to know who's going to be seen in these tapes. Whether they participated or not, they're just as much guilty, man. That's the other thing that is going to be kind of interesting to see what comes out. Why did this take so long to come out is what I want to know as well, right? Because, like I said, there's some reason why this is coming out now. I don't know what it is, but like I said, if you notice the last year, slowly started seeing videos pop up that were addressing it. You started seeing other, actors and whatnot start speaking on it. It's like they spoke it into existence. Same way like they've always done, the media. So where does the media fall? Their involvement in this? It's a big story. So of course, maybe they knew about the investigation going on and they wanted to pretty much drop lugs. Maybe it was the federal government dropping lugs. You never know nowadays, right? Why people do the things they do. But for some reason, they already wanted to paint him kind of slowly as a monster before all this came out. And every time an incident like this happens, the world pays attention to this, while a whole lot of other shit's already going on that just fucking swept right under our noses. Like I said, this whole P. Diddy thing, it's interesting, man. I don't believe that he belongs to no Illuminati. I bet you that the sex club stuff and all that stuff, the orgies and trafficking, he had to have been exposed to it. He had to have, right? He didn't just start doing that on his own. Now, what gets me, the last 5 years, a lot of people have been exposed. R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, Axl Rose. The list goes on and on. They've been exposed the last 5 years, so it almost makes it seem like someone had a personal investment that he wanted these people to be exposed for what they were doing. Has to be, because a lot of this shit was swept under the rugs for a long time, and you hear rumors here and there about these type of scenarios, right? But never to where it pushed an issue that they were going to get arrested. But it also goes to show how weak-minded individuals are, that they'll do anything, right? To have that power, to be recognized, to make that money, to be a star. That they'll sell themselves out, man. Which a lot of these artists did, that they benefited from Diddy, you know? Now that I think about it, the one who really first started bringing up P. Diddy was 50 Cent, if you remember. Slowly, you started hearing different things that 50 Cent was saying about P. Diddy. Cat Williams was the other one. You know, the interviews that he did with Shannon Sharp. You know, they say that Vanessa Williams brought some stuff up against P. Diddy years and years ago, and she lost her job at the time. You know what I'm saying? Where she was, I think she was working as a DJ, but as soon as she spoke about what she seen, what she witnessed, bam, she ended up losing her job, and she was pretty much blackballed for a while. So that goes to show the power that P. Diddy had during his reign and the shit that he was doing. It's almost like a secret society, man, of artists, basically, you know? Anyways, man, this is just things I was thinking about, man, because I've been watching everybody else's video. The dude's a weirdo, he's a sicko, and everybody that went along with it, man, they're just as much fucked, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's some weird shit that was going down. Seems like Meek Mill and Usher were two of his primary, like, original targets, man. And I think Justin Bieber, too. I think there's that video later on of Justin Bieber with OBJ, but, man, P. Diddy was already fucking lacing that kid up when he was, like, young, like 16 years old. Like I said, there's definitely some weirdo shit that was going on, and people were okay with it. You know what I mean? I don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I would never compromise myself, man, for the money. Never. Never in millionaires, man. Yeah, here you got these people that are giving Diddy all the power, man. I do think this whole raid and this whole situation pretty much puts Diddy pretty much, you know, in his place amongst the elite, that he's not as elite as he thought he was, because he used to brag about bribing jurors and all kinds of shit, being a gangster and getting cases dismissed. And, you know, there's times where he bought footages of certain motels where shit happened. And like I said, Diddy wasn't really a righteous stand-up dude, man. And it kind of makes you wonder other cases, like, you know, what's up with Biggie Smalls? How much influence did he have on that situation? Because I was watching the situation. Biggie Smalls had an album he was ready to drop, right? Notorious Big. 2 weeks before he got killed. But yet that video, the commission, that album was never ever dropped. Who has it? Diddy does. Like I said, he's all about self-serving himself, and is probably one of the most greediest and selfish individual that's in the industry. You know, it's all out there, man. Anyways, man, this is a video. I'm kind of all over the place on it, man. Like I said, I did a little bit of research. But I still find it kind of interesting how many videos were dropped ahead of time, pretty much planting that seed that this was going to come forward, man, that this was going to happen.